Good morning, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay and today we're doing our first garden harvest of the year and I am so excited. I have been looking forward to this day for such a long time. It's gonna be so much fun. I've got this giant bowl that I bought for harvesting, and honestly, I'm not gonna need this big of a bowl, but I've been so excited to use it that I'm like, screw it, we're using it. And then over here, I have my snips, which I have soaking in a cup of white vinegar to, I guess, sanitize them, because if you, let me see, you see how like nasty that is? That's because yesterday I pruned my tomatoes. And so I don't want to now use those snips to cut back other things until I've sanitized them. Okay, I gave them a wipe down. They look better, but there was still some gunk on there that I couldn't get off, so I'm gonna let those sit for a little bit longer. And while we're waiting, I have a few things in the garden that I'd like to show you. My sweet peas have finally started giving me some flowers. I honestly had given up hope. I did not think I was gonna get anything. They took such a long time to mature, but they're doing it, and they're so pretty. They're so delicate. I love it. My carrots are looking really big and full, and something had been in here digging the other day, much to my dismay, and it gave me the chance to see one of them. So here, I'm gonna move the dirt back a little bit so that you can see. Look at that. I think this must be one of the colored ones, because that doesn't look true orange to me. That's amazing. I'm not gonna pick it yet though. Honestly, that looks to me like I could, but I don't know. When are you supposed to pick carrots? I feel like, aren't the greens supposed to die back a little bit before you pull them up? The greens still look beautiful and lush. So I think I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. My onions, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted on my story because they've started to pull away. Like the dirt is no longer surrounding the bulb. And I was like, ooh, should I cover these up? And somebody was like, no, in fact, move the dirt away from it. It needs room to like bulb and stuff. And I was like, okay. So I did that. I moved the dirt like back away from it. And they're still smaller than I would like an onion to be. They're not tiny, but they're not as big as I would want. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. My sugar snap peas have put up a valiant effort, but I think today's the day they go. We're gonna do one heavy harvest, a really, really good harvest to get all of them. They're starting to get what I assume must be powdery mildew. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what that looks like to me. Which does not surprise me because it is July 13th today, and these guys have hung in there. The heat, it's so humid here, and they have just produced and produced and produced this whole time. So I'm really proud of them. I'm really impressed with them, but I think today is the day that I harvest, and then I'm just gonna cut them. You'll see, I'll show you. I'm just gonna cut them at the root, cut them right off, and throw them in the compost. And then today we're planting our second round of green beans. So I'll get a summer harvest of green beans and a fall harvest. We're gonna be doing some raspberry harvesting today. My raspberry bush is pretty loaded, so we're going to grab those, and I'm not doing any preserving. I'm gonna eat them all. I'm just being real with you. Benny Blue, are you handsome? Are you a handsome guy? Yes, you are. This is my spinach. It bolted, and I'm leaving it, and I'm waiting for it to put off flowers because I want to try to seed save. No flowers yet, and I don't know what I'm doing. I've never seed saved in my life, but I'm gonna try. So I'm just letting that do its thing and kind of seeing what happens. My Brussels sprouts are being demolished. Come on, I don't know what to do about it. I haven't actually seen any bugs. Like, I don't know what would eat them, but I literally haven't. I come out here and I don't see anything. There's nothing for me to pick off. Oh, wait. What is this? What is that? Is this it? Is this the culprit? And there's one here too. Okay, so maybe I'll come out here in a little bit and pick those off. If you know what the heck that is, tell me in the comments. Here we've got Peruvian Zinnias. Oh, stunning. stunning. My blue disc African daisies, again, if you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting about them. I need to come out here and do some deadheading. They are beautiful. Let me see if there's a really pretty one to show you. Oh, look how beautiful. Gosh, I mean, this could be a painting. That is picturesque. So pretty. But yeah, I need to come out here and deadhead. So this is a good example of not being able to do it all. I had really high hopes for calendula, learning how to preserve it and use it, yada yada, and I have not fooled with it at all. I mean, I love to look at it. It's so pretty. Here, let's look at this one. It's gorgeous. I have not actually productively done anything with it, unfortunately, but you know, I'm having some grace with myself. I can't do it all. And at the very least, it's so good for the bees. And I have seen so many bees and butterflies in my garden, and it makes my heart so happy. So if that's the only purpose it serves this year, I'm a-okay with that. And it's beautiful. It's so pretty to look at. So that's a purpose also. Here are my peppers and my baby's breath, which I have just let run wild. I haven't trimmed it. I haven't done anything to it except I've picked some. I've given a couple of my girlfriends flower bouquets, and I've picked it for that purpose a couple of times. But other than that, I've completely left it alone. And I don't know, I love the splashes of white amongst my peppers. I think it looks so pretty. So in my last garden tour, I talked about my pepper management and my plan because my peppers were babies. These plants were so little. And although they're still not as big as I want them to be, they're much bigger. So this one, I believe it was this one that I put my hand up next to it, and look at how much bigger it is now. It was the size of my hand, and now it's what, triple, 2 times as tall. So, you know, although this pepper in the grand scheme of things is still not as big as I'd like it to be, I think it's time. I'm gonna start letting them give me peppers. My season is so short, and I really want these peppers. I have big plans for them. You want me to throw your ball? Here, give it to me. Nice. Good job. So I came out here on July 9th. Today's the 13th. And I picked up, no, not in the garden, you know. Not in the garden. July 9th, today's the 13th. I came out here and I picked off every single bud I could find on these peppers. I'm talking, I went through here with a fine-tooth comb and picked off every single one of them. Look how many there are since I've done that. Let me see if I can get up close. Well, first of all, these are my banana peppers, and they're already loaded with flowers. Not even just little buds, but flowers. So they're ready. They're like, let's go, Mom. I want to do this. And then here, if you look down in here, look at all those little buds. Let's see here. So many. Absolutely loaded. This one's got a lot. And so I told you guys in my last garden tour that July 12th, I was going to start letting them fruit. I came out here on the 9th, picked them all off. This has grown in 4 days, and I'm going to leave them. I'm going to let all these little buds, all these little flowers that you see here, God willing, I'm going to let them turn into fruit. That's fine with me. I'm so excited. Woo! I'm very proud of my peppers. They have done, I grew them from seed. They look beautiful. Okay, moving on. Ooh, what's going on here? This is the first I'm seeing this. Okay, these are my cucumbers, and we're gonna be doing some harvesting today. Ooh. Let's see. Do I have any others? Oh, I see one hiding over there. Yep. Okay, good. So we've got some cucumbers. Ooh, yummy. Scrumptious little guy. I'm probably gonna pick this. We'll get to this. I don't want to harvest anything yet. Right now, I'm just taking you through. One little thing that I want to say is that these yellow leaves, I come out here with my snips and I snip those off for a couple of reasons. A, this can turn quite jungle, and you want there to still be air circulation. You don't want there to be, just like with tomatoes, like they can become diseased. pest pressure can increase, you want air circulation, and you want the pollinators to be able to find the flowers to do their work for you. So I always come in and clip off any foliage that is looking sickly or yellow, whatever, just to for that reason alone. And look, my zucchini have quite a bit of yellow leaves. So we'll come in here today and clip those off. And see, they can't even oh, I have a big old zucchini. It would be difficult for a pollinator to even find that flower in there. So that's the purpose of that. Uh-oh, what are these? Okay guys, I know nothing about pests. I have very little pest experience. Are these bad? Can somebody tell me if these are bad guys that I should be worried about? Okay. So we'll come out, we've got some zucchinis to harvest. We're gonna preserve those today, so stick around. I came out here yesterday because, well, I wanted to impress you guys. I came out here and pruned the heck out of them. So as jungly as this is looking, it was worse yesterday. I was out here for an hour and a half pruning the heck out of these. So I just want to show you so many. These are my sweethearts, which by the way, they're so cute. Let me find. Look at the shape. Here's a good one. The shape is so cute. I cannot wait to munch on these. They look so scrumptious. And then let me find. These are my black cherries. Here's a good one. Very, very cute. These are my Thornburn terracotta tomatoes. Absolute bumper crop. 100% will be growing these next year as long as I like the taste. They're producing like crazy. Huge fruits all over the vine. I'm so impressed. It was a free seed packet from Baker Creek, and gosh, am I impressed with them. And then this is my super sauce, and I want to use these to make sauce. These are my Romas. They're also doing really well. I'm praying to the good Lord Jesus Christ that all of these make it to harvest day so that I can use them in my sauce. I'm so excited to make sauce, you guys. I can't stand it. Now here's the issue. These tomatoes are not new. They've been on the vine for such a long time. But being in upstate New York, I don't know what it is about this place, but my tomatoes take such a long time to turn red. They stay green forever. Just wait, because you'll be getting garden tours and updates as we go along. I'm interested to see, with me having started them so early, they have such healthy soil, they've been fertilized, they've been pruned, they're regularly watered. I'm interested to see when they turn red. I really, really am anxious to see, because in the past when I've grown tomatoes, in of course much worse conditions, literally just a hole in the ground with nothing, like just sandy soil, no fertilization, crap. They haven't given me red tomatoes until the end of August, almost September. So hopefully that's not the case. I want them sooner than that. Here is my chamomile patch. We are going to be harvesting this today. I'm going to do this last because you're supposed to harvest your chamomile in the morning after the dew has dried. That's when the essential oils in the chamomile are the strongest. And we are going to be preserving it today, and we will talk about that. So my strawberries have put off these crazy runners, and you guys, again, I can't do it all. It's on my to-do list to research how to propagate these, because I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to, like, are these the roots? These must be. I don't know. Do I just pop this in soil? I don't know what to do with it. But I want to propagate these. So it's on my list. It's on my list of things to do. My tomatoes from the inside, literally crazy. But I've seen bees all over them. Let me see, there's a bee right now. Let me see if I can show you. There we go. So cute. I love these fuzzy little babies. And they're always out here on my tomatoes and the flowers. And to me, that just shows me that I'm doing a good job. Like, they're healthy, they're pruned well enough that they're able to get to the flowers. The tomatoes are being pollinated, and it's wonderful. It makes me so happy. I love seeing healthy insects in the garden. I love it. This is just an inside view. Look at the thorn burns. Look at that. That is nuts. It's crazy. So cool. Okay, something else. These are my California poppies, and they are done. They're done. So I'm gonna cut them off. Okay, I was saying I'm gonna cut everything in the garden off at the roots and keep the roots in the ground, because we're doing no dig, no till for my garden beds, and having the roots stay in the ground and decompose over time adds nutrients to the soil. So that's my plan for everything that you see, except my echinacea, because I want to keep my echinacea. So yeah, I'm going to be coming out, like, look how nasty this looks. I'm cutting this off, throwing this in the compost pile, and I'm going to replace it with either broccoli or cauliflower. Haven't decided. And I started those indoors. I will show them to you in a little bit. Oh, so pretty. All right, so that's the garden. I'm just gonna gloss it over for you really quick. Very pretty. Very happy with the way everything is going. Everything's looking so lush and healthy and beautiful. And gosh, it just brings me so much joy. So I'm going to switch over to my GoPro, give you some pretty music to listen to, and we're gonna get to harvesting. Baby, so go. Baby, so go. Baby, so go. After sitting in that mixture, these are pretty gunk free. Still a little bit stubborn that I can't get, but for the most part, these feel pretty sanitized and ready to be used. Okay, so we harvested cucumbers, zucchini, green beans, and my raspberries. I planned on talking to you in between, but our garbage man chose that moment to service our street. And also my neighbors are outside now with their very barky dog. So I'm gonna keep the chat minimal and just give you footage of me harvesting. Next up, I'm gonna do my basil and oregano, and I'm doing the chamomile last. Baby, so So there is one quick thing that I want to talk to you about, and that is the proper way to harvest herbs like basil and oregano, because I put up a video on how to dry basil and I actually made it private. A friend of mine from Bluebird Homestead, she kind of messaged me and she was like, just so you know, you don't want to just pull the leaves off of the plant. You want to snip it above a set of leaves, and that will encourage new growth. And so I made that video private because I really don't want to spread misinformation or teach you something that's incorrect, but it's tough because I'm also learning still. Like, I'm not an expert in any way and I'm learning as I go. So I thank you for showing me the proper way to harvest basil, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you right now just so you know the proper way to go about doing it. And I'm actually kind of behind because you don't want this to happen. This is it bolting, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do it now, and my tomatoes are growing into it. So what I was doing before, I was just going through and literally just like picking off leaves like this. And that's, I guess, not a bad thing, but it's just not the right way and it's not helpful to your plant. So what you wanna do instead, so like here, for example, here is this whole piece, and you see how there is leaves here, and already it's starting to put off new growth. You want to, let me see, I'm trying to do this all one-handed. Got my snips here. You want to snip it. You want to snip it right above that, if I can. Okay, not very graceful, but we're doing it. Oh gosh, that put off actual flowers. I'm so late on doing this. But snipping it right above a set of leaves like that will encourage it to put off new growth. And it already is putting off new growth right there. There's new leaves coming out right here. So that's the proper way to harvest basil, and oregano is the same. You don't want to go through and just pick off random leaves, although that's not bad. It doesn't help your plant, you know? And anytime you have something like this pop up right here, you definitely want to cut this off. This is the plant trying to bolt. So I'm going to go through and do that with all of my basil plants right now. Lastly, we're going to harvest the chamomile, and I just wanted to show you quickly how I plan on doing that. You hold the stem, and then with your finger, your forefinger and your middle finger, you just pull up. And that way you don't disturb the plant too much, and you get the heads. Okay, so I decided a couple of things. First, I am going to wait on cutting down my sugar snap peas, mostly because I'm a huge baby and, well, I just really don't want to. But second, it's gonna take, they have so many flowers on them still. And good morning, girls. And they're really still trying to put off fruit. And so I don't want to cut them down before I have to. And it's gonna take a while for the green beans to germinate anyway. So I think I'm just gonna plant the green beans in between the sugar snap peas, and then when the green beans need room, then I'll cut the sugar snap peas, because they're still, I know that they have a little powdery mildew, but they're still doing okay. So I think I'm gonna leave them. And I wanted to show you the chickens really quick. Look at my babies. Good morning, girls. And Conrad, good morning. How are we today? So I have a new feeder and a new water for them so that I don't have to change it every single day. So here is their water, and it's this little nipple, and they just push it with their teeth, or I guess their beak, and it gives them water. And then over here is their new feeder. and they just stick their heads in there, and the feed is down in there. And this way, they have water. This holds 12 gallons, and this holds 50 pounds of food. And so it stays clean, it stays dry, and it keeps me from having to come out here and do that every single day. So let me get them their treats. I've been training them to know that the sound of me shaking a bag means that they're gonna get something, because in the future, when I start to let them free range in the yard a little bit, I want them to come back to the sound of the bag. So that's what I've been doing. And I think it's working. Let's see. Do you guys want this? Do you babies want some treats this morning? And this is a new bag of treats. Soldier fly larva, mealworms, crickets, and grasshoppers, rich in protein and calcium. I haven't been giving them any calcium yet because they're 10 weeks old, but when I saw that these treats had calcium, I was like, sure. Oh, look how nasty that is. Gross. Oh, that's gross. There's whole grasshoppers in here. Are you kidding me? The other bag of treats that they had was just mealworms. Look at how nasty that is. Gross. Okay, I bet they're gonna love it though. You want these, ladies? And Conrad? Oh, I don't even want to stick my hand in here. Okay, I'm just gonna... In here. Oh, that was a lot. Excuse me. Can you get back in here, please? Thank you. Let's see what they think. You guys like it? Stay. No. Stay. Good boy, Ben. Hi, Buff. Good morning, Buffy. Good morning. Look at how cute they are. I love them. Benny, stop. Nope, you stay. You're not coming out. You stay. No, no. No, thank you. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Oh, they're looking over here because normally with their other treats, I would throw some over here. There we go. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, I know. Oh, you poor thing. You got it so rough. Nope, nope, nope. I'm just trying to show our YouTube friends your growth and you're being jerks. Okay, I'm closing the door. I'm closing the door. Yeah, they want to get out of here so bad, and I want to let them out, but they're still little enough that I think that they can fit through a gap that we have in our fence, so I'm waiting for them to get bigger, and then I'll let them out every now and then. Maybe after my tomato harvest. Okay, so anyway, there's the chickens. Okay, here is our harvest. I'm not going to touch any of it because I was just touching the chickens. I'm going to wash my hands first, but we have oregano, basil, red raspberries, 3 cucumbers and 1 zucchini, bunch of sugar snap peas, and some chamomile. So we're gonna go inside and I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do with all of this. Okay, I had somebody suggest that I film this way instead of filming this way like I normally do, so I figured, what the heck, let's give it a shot, see if I like it. So, little switcheroony today. I wanted to talk about the chamomile first. So all I didn't wash these, I just kind of checked them over for like bugs and stuff, and take that one out. And then I laid them out on my dehydrator and kind of made sure they were nice and spaced and they weren't touching. Luckily, I only need to use 1 tray. I really don't have that much because the dehydrator that I have, this round one, I hate it. And I'm actually saving my money to get an Excalibur. The reason that this isn't great is because the heating element comes from the top, and so if you have numerous trays, you have to rotate them over time to make sure that you're getting even coverage. But I just have 1 layer, so that's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. And I'm gonna set it, this says herbs and spices 95 degrees. This thing takes a million years. So I have it on 105 degrees. And I think this only has to dehydrate chamomile for like 4 hours, but we'll see. I'm actually going to, I don't like having this on my kitchen counter, it's very loud. I'm gonna move it into my dining room and I'll be right back. With chamomile, you can also lay it out in the sun and let it dry in the sun. However, it can't be humid, and it's very humid here, so that's why I chose not to do that. You can also put it in the oven, and you can put it in the microwave, but I figured using the dehydrator would probably be best, so that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got my zucchini, I've got my box grater, a bowl, and some cheesecloth that I just bought. So we're gonna chop the end off of this and use the grater very carefully to grate this. You know what? This thing, I'm gonna do it on the, there we go. And then I just pop this out. And there is our grated zucchini. Now there's another important step. This is not something that can just go directly in the freezer like this. I mean, I guess you could, but it's not optimal. So we take our cheesecloth. You can also do this with paper towels, but paper towels just fall apart a lot easier. So I'm gonna use cheesecloth. Okay, I'm gonna lay it in this bowl here, and I'm gonna put our zucchini right into the cheesecloth here. Take your cheesecloth like this, and you want to squeeze out the moisture, as much of it as you can. All right, that's pretty good. So then you've got zucchini that the moisture has been pretty well removed. This feels really nice. And now you can put that into your freezer bag, if that's how you're storing it. Or I'm going to use a quart-sized Ziploc freezer bag, which I don't have any, that's the smallest freezer bag I have, or else I'd use a smaller one. Or you could store it in a mason jar or some other freezer-safe container. Let's go ahead and stick it in there. So there's that. Ideally, I would have more zucchini in this bag, and I could probably add more. The next time I have a harvest, I'll just still use this bag. Same process, just add it to this already existing bag until it's full. But that is what you do, or at least that's how I like to do it. I grate it, cut off one end, grate it with my box grater, put the grated zucchini into a cheesecloth and use it to squeeze out as much of the moisture as possible. And then that way it is ready to be stored in the freezer, and I can add this to soups, I can add it to casseroles, I can add it to sauces, and it'll be a really great way in the wintertime to get a little bit more green during a time when there's not a whole lot of green. Label it. And I'm just going to label it with the month and the year, not the day, because like I said, I'm probably going to add more to this. It's nice and flat, so I can go ahead and put this in my freezer. Okay, I just wanted to talk briefly about drying your basil and oregano since I did take that video off my YouTube channel. I'm just going to gloss over it. So basically what I did was I rinsed all of my basil and all of my oregano in my strainer just to get off any bugs or dirt or anything like that. I laid them out on some dry paper towels, and actually while they were in the strainer, I picked the leaves off. And I saved one so I could show you. This is how I just threw all of these in my strainer and rinsed them. And then using my fingernails, I just pinch off the leaves like that. So I went through and already did all of these. And then with the oregano, it's a little bit easier because I can just take it and strip it with my fingers. So I preheated my oven. The lowest it will go, which for my oven is 170 degrees, which is not that low. That's pretty hot. So it doesn't take very long at all for these to dry. It depends on how low your oven goes, how long you're going to leave them in. So I went ahead and preheated that, and I'm just taking these off. These have been rinsed, like I said. I take a dry paper towel and just kind of roughly dry them off. It's not a big deal. All the moisture is going to, dry up in the oven, but the drier they are when you put them in, the less amount of time it takes for them to dry. And I'll do the same to my oregano. And then I only have one cookie sheet clean right now because I did a lot of baking yesterday and I haven't gotten to those dishes yet. So I'm going to have to shove all of this onto one cookie sheet here. You want to, ideally you'd have this be on separate sheets, your basil and oregano, to keep them separate, but that's okay. It's what I've got to do. So I'm just going to kind of spread this out over here. They're going to be overlapping a little bit. It's fine. It is what it is. Remember that having them overlap just means that it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. It's not that big of a deal. And I want to push them back because I want to keep it separate from my basil, because I'm storing them separately. I'm not combining these. Just so happens that they have to share a sheet, that's all. All right. And you want to space them out the best you can. Okay, just like that. My oven's already preheated, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. Okay, for my sugar snap peas and my raspberries, I'm not gonna do any preserving. I'm just gonna leave them on the counter and I'm gonna munch on them as time goes by, have them as snacks. I'm probably gonna pack some of these sugar snack peas with me to work tomorrow. So I just wanted to show you my seeds that I started indoors. This is for my fall garden. I have zinnias that I started. I didn't label this one. I started them the other day, a few days ago. This is broccoli that I started on the 21st of June. This is cauliflower that I started on the 29th of June. Nasturtiums that I started on the 29th of June. And pumpkins that I started on the 29th of June. So my cauliflower and my broccoli, this is just my opinion. I think they're still too small to transplant outside. It's very hot and we're not getting a lot of rain, and I just would rather them grow and become stronger indoors before I try to put them outside. So these I'm gonna let stay for a little bit longer. The same is true for my nasturtiums, although they're growing very quickly and they're just so cute. I love them, but I'm gonna leave them inside a little bit longer. My pumpkins, however, with them growing as quickly as they are, and they're already like kind of outgrowing their container, I think I'm going to go ahead and get these planted outside. I think we're going to do that together today. I'm also going to plant some green beans like we talked about, and I think I'm also going to start some carrots. So let's go back outside and do that. Okay, let's get these pumpkins transplanted first. So we're on the inside of my bed here. Here's my tomatoes, here are all my flowers, and I want to plant them so that they grow into this empty area here because there's nothing happening in here. I'll be able to step over them, I'm sure. And honestly, it's the only room that I have. So I'm going to cut new holes in my weed fabric. I'm going to plant one here, and I don't know, here, something like that. And then the same with here, maybe here, and here, something like that. And then over here, I actually attempted this over on my tomato side first and was largely unsuccessful. I actually planted seeds, like a direct sowed some pumpkin seeds over here, and most of them didn't sprout except this one sprouted and this one sprouted. So I do have two over on my tomato side that I'll also let grow in. But I'm gonna transplant the ones that I started in here and just, I don't know, see what happens, I guess. Baby, so Okay, I've got those little pumpkin starts planted, and wow, as I was digging the holes to transplant those, I realized that in just the few months that I've had these raised garden beds here, the soil has become incredibly compact. I was having to really try to dig a hole to put these in, so that's interesting. I went ahead and cut out my California poppies, and I think I'm going to, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I've got 6, 7, 8 because those were things that I started that didn't make it. So I've got 8 spots here, and I could probably stand to put another one here, so that's 9, maybe one here, 10. I'm trying to think if I can shove my broccoli and my cauliflower in this bed when the time comes. And I think yes, because I'm probably also going to cut this out. This is a poppy. I'm assuming mother of pearl because it's kind of pinkish, but I guess it could be amazing gray. I don't know. All of them look different all throughout the yard, but I'm going to cut that out soon. So that's another hole, and I'll probably be able to fit one right here. I think I'm going to try to shove my cauliflower and my broccoli all into this bed here. The reason I'm thinking about this now is because I think I'm going to use this spot for carrots, and I think I'm going to use this spot for radishes. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to head over to the other bed and get some green beans in the ground where my sugar snap peas are. And my plan for this, because I don't want to cut my sugar snap peas out yet because they're still producing. They're still trying. They're hanging in there. I think in between, so like here, 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 you know, you get the gist. I'm gonna put a green bean because it's gonna take a little while. Like, these guys didn't get off the ground for such a long time. Granted, it was colder, but it took them a very long time to get going. So, you know, let's say it takes 2 weeks for them to become large enough to need the trellis. I could get 2 more sugar snap pea harvests out of 2 weeks, I think. So I don't know, I feel like this is the right move. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those in the ground. Okay, so I've got these green beans in the ground. Alongside, you can kind of see one there, one there, one there. I went down the line here and I planted them in between my sugar snap peas. So when my sugar snap peas are done, I will cut them off at the root like you just saw me do with my California poppy, and that'll give my green beans all the room they need to grow. Now, oh, that's a big old weed. Now, my green beans here, after they've given me a couple flushes of beans and they're kind of starting to wind down, I will likely cut these out and plant a second round of sugar snap peas. I think. This is my first time doing this, so I'm just kind of telling you my thought process. So basically, these two are going to switch. These are going to go, and this is going to be green beans. These are going to go, and this is going to be sugar snap peas. So that's kind of the plan, but we'll see. I mean, this is definitely happening. I've planted the green beans. Those sugar snap peas are going to go. That's a for sure thing. I'm going to wait and see how these green beans do, because if they produce and they show no signs of stopping and they're perfectly healthy, then I'll just let them keep going. But if they slow down, they get tired, it gets too hot, whatever the case may be, then I'm going to cut these out and do a second round of sugar snap peas for the fall. So we'll see. Okay, right in the middle here where I've got some open space, I'm going to cut 2 strips out of this weed barrier fabric, and I'm going to succession sow another round of carrots for each. So I did on the other side over where my sugar snap peas are, I did this is what they're called, kaleidoscope blend carrot, and I also did the St. Valerie carrot. So I'm just going to do a line of St. Valerie and a line of kaleidoscope right here where I've got this empty spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Baby, so so okay. It's not the prettiest and I was not the most graceful, but it's here. And so now I'm going to give it a good soaking. And remember, carrots have to be kept moist the entire time in the very beginning. So I'm probably going to have to come out here twice a day. I don't really want to cover them. I could. I don't really want to. So I'm just going to have to come out here at least twice a day, maybe 3, and make sure that these are kept really moist. So these are all nice and watered. I'm going to come over and water the pumpkins, and then I'm going to water the green beans. I just wanted to point out that this is why you try to separate your leaves and not have them on top of each other. Like I said, I only have the 1 baking sheet, but these ones, so like these are pretty crispy. Like you can hear it. Oop, that one needs to come out. But look at these. These have literal moisture hanging out on them. They are soggy. Like, they're kind of gross. So I went through and I separated all the ones I could find that had moisture on them. I separated them and I'm gonna put this back in. It was in for 30 minutes. I'm gonna put it in for probably another 10 minutes because these aren't even really, they're kind of crunchy, but not a ton. So I'm just gonna give the whole thing another maybe 10, 15 minutes. Just wanted you to know. Okay, so after being put in the oven the second time, these are all nice and crispy. None of them are soggy or wet. All the moisture has been dried out. So we've got the basil separated from the oregano. I've got my cute little containers here that I've been storing my dried basil and oregano in. So we are just going to get this nice and crunched up here. Oh man. This container's never been full before. I always go through it faster than I can dehydrate it, but that was a pretty big basil harvest. Oh, that makes me so happy that my container is full. All right, and then the same thing with the oregano, which I'm almost totally out. Okay, well, as time goes on and I harvest more of this, I might have to upgrade my containers to something a little bigger, which, that's fine. I'll use these for something else, so we'll have to see. Because actually, I'm gonna set that as my goal, to have more than what these little containers will hold, because this is not gonna get me through winter. I'm gonna need more than just these 2 guys to get me through winter with all of the cooking that I do, so my goal is to have more than I'll fit in these little containers, so I'll have to upgrade to like a mason jar or something. So there's our basil and oregano, dried and ready to be used in cooking. Next, the chamomile that we harvested today. I had it in the dehydrator and I think I had said 105. I checked it after a few hours and like nothing was happening and I was starting to get frustrated. So I cranked that sucker to like 135 and let it go for like another hour. It's so funny when you dehydrate your harvest how absolutely pitiful it makes it look. This is like the saddest little chamomile harvest I've ever seen in my life. But that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and get these in this jar that I have. And these are going to be delicious in tea. I think I'll probably make a cup of chamomile tea here soon, and I'll probably post about that on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do so. All right. It's really pitiful looking, but that's okay because we will definitely have a lot more come in over the season. There we go. And this will grow and grow and grow. So that's what we have for now. Perfect for a few cups of tea. So we've got the basil, the oregano, the chamomile, the zucchini that we talked about earlier. That's in the freezer already. So as we go along and as the season progresses, we'll do more harvesting, more preserving, different ways to preserve it and different ways to eat it and things like that. So stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out with me today while I've harvested and preserved some of the goodies from the garden, and stick around for more content like this. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.